Yeah, there's a wonderful observation by Nikos Kazantzakis, a great Greek writer. He wrote Zorba the Greek and The Last Temptation of Christ and St. Francis. And he said, when you passionately believe in what doesn't exist, you create it. And that which we call non-existent has just simply not been sufficiently desired. So what you are not doing is having a passionate, and when I say passionate, I mean like tremendous enthusiasm for this belief, because the presence of passion within you is evidence that you can create it. If you can't create the passion in your mind, the likelihood is that you can't create it. But the presence of the passion or the enthusiasm, the word enthusiasm breaks down to entheos, which means God within, the God within you. Mm-hmm. So the God within you is the passion, and the passion is for you to have a picture of yourself weighing what is your perfect weight, what you were designed to weigh when you were brought into this world of form. Okay, and you were not designed to weigh, to have excess, blubber on you, any place in your body. You weren't designed for that. What has happened is that for some reason, for some way, and it really doesn't make too much difference what the reason is, you've disconnected yourself from that perfect inner vision of what it is that you passionately believe you should look like.
Right.
And you've just forgotten it, or you've been sabotaged it, or other people have helped you to do that, or you can blame McDonald's, you can blame, it doesn't make any difference where you go. No. You still have disconnected yourself from this perfect vision. Just close your eyes and see yourself looking the ideal way that you see yourself as looking. And then reminding yourself that you deserve to have well-being and perfect health because that's where you came from. You didn't come from, babies don't come into this world, with all of this excess on them and all of that. They come in perfect, ready to be these perfect creations, and then we just get disconnected along the way. And the minute that you get that and see yourself that way, you will, it's really funny, I always tell people one of the best things that you can do for this is to take up a yoga class. Mm-hmm. I do yoga like 4 or 5 times a week. And when you do yoga, after a while, when you've been doing yoga, which is the stretching, and you stretch the internal organs as well as the external organs, and you're massaging every organ of your body and so on, mm-hmm. It's 90 minutes a day. When you do this, it doesn't matter what level you do it at, and they said this to me on the very first day that I took my first yoga class, last October the 1st. They said that after you've been doing yoga for a while, where you really connect yourself back to spirit in the moment, you start craving healthier things for yourself. And it becomes like this automatic thing. You want to eat better. You want to eat less. You want to exercise more. You want to do all of the things that your inner vision tells you should be doing. And you stop with all of the nonsense of all of the disconnection that you've had. The best way that I know of to overcome depression, anxiety, stress, addictions, any of these kinds of things, is to make a concerted effort to live an inspired life, to move yourself back into the world of spirit. And it's not about praying to God and saying, "Dear God, please rid me of this addiction," because when you're praying to your source, you're really making conscious contact with a source that knows nothing but well-being. So it doesn't even recognize what you're talking about. What you want to do is reconnect yourself and begin to act as if you were in harmony with God, with your source, with spirit. And by doing that, by seeing yourself as a connected being, you start having thoughts that are in harmony with your source and with God, rather than thoughts that are out of harmony with it. So instead of telling yourself that you need to have a dose of nicotine, or you need to have a pill in order to overcome what it is that you want, you get into I call it in my new book, an inspiration, I call it remembering. And in A Course in Miracles, there's a wonderful line that says, the memory of God comes to the quiet mind. It cannot come where there is conflict. A mind at war with itself, which is what an addictive and depressive mind is, a mind at war with itself, remembers not eternal gentleness, remembers not where it came from. What you remember is who you are, and you must be as God created you. And the Course says, be done with this madness, and return instead to the quiet memory of God. So it's like overcoming depression and overcoming addictions is really about remembering who you really are.
what your real source is, instead of going with the false self, or with the illusion that I am this body and I am all of the things that it is craving and all of the habits that I have established for a lifetime. Begin to do a different kind of an assessment and step outside of that body. Begin to observe it. And from this place of observation, see yourself as that which is noticing all of this. And that which is noticing all of this has no desire for anything that is going to be toxic to the body.